What is up, all my dudes? I'm Shiftastic, and today we're gonna be playing a game that's more of a serious topic. And it's not exactly a game, it's more of a story that you read through, and from what I understand anyway, there will be options that you will get, and you will be able to choose between, I don't know, having like a burrito or a sandwich. I have no idea. That's just a random, example. And I know the screen may be black. I cannot change that, and I apologize for it. But just listen along, and hopefully we will get through this together, and hopefully it isn't too sad. And before I even start, I just want to say I am not making fun of people with depression. I know it is terrible, and it's just I don't want to get any hate for people thinking that I'm making fun of people with depression. I am not. Everything I read, everything I say, it's nothing against people with depression. I have no idea what my mouth will say in the future, but please, forgive me if I say something that upsets you. And if it does, comment down below, and I will be sure to keep in mind of that. And I apologize for any people that I may trigger or offend in the future. So anyway, it's called Depression Quest, and this is an interactive non-fiction about living with depression. So this is by Zoe Queen, Patrick Lindsay, and Isaac Skankler. I really hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, so this isn't fiction, it's non-fiction. And so I assume that the three people that worked on this, they have depression or know what it's like to go through it. And hopefully they've overcome it by now, if they do. And yeah. So anyway, let's just get into this game. And yeah, so first there's a quote at the top of the screen. And it says, "Its emotional characters probably mostly indescribable, except as a sort of double bind in which any/all of the alternatives we associate with human agency, sitting or standing, doing or resting, speaking or keeping silent, living or dying, are not just unpleasant, but literally horrible." And that quote is by David Foster Wallace. So before I read this letter that I'm assuming the people who made this, then, so, sorry, I just want to make sure that you guys know I have not gone through this. I have had this downloaded for, I'm not sure how long, but I have not read through it. I have not seen anything about it. I haven't done anything. So I legit have no idea what is going to happen. So, hopefully, this is gonna be good. Also, Dave the Robloxian, hey, I'm not gonna be paying too much attention to the chat though. So, yeah. Also, I'm not gonna ask for likes. And I'm not going to. You can like if you want to, I'm not going to ask for it like I usually do in my intros. And I'm gonna be as serious as I can with this. I might say a few jokes here and there, and yeah. I'm sorry, I've been blabbering a lot so far. What? 3 minutes? Holy crap. Anyway, let's just get into this. So, there's this letter from the developers, I assume, and I read the first few words and all that. So anyway, here's what it says. Depression Quest is a game that deals with living with depression in a very literal way. This game is not meant to be a fun or lighthearted experience. If you are currently suffering from the illness and are easily triggered, please be aware that this game uses stark depictions of people in very dark places. If you are suicidal, please stop playing this game and visit the suicide prevention hotline to talk to somebody. The goal of this game is twofold. Firstly, we want to illustrate as clearly as possible what depression is like, so that it may be better understood by people without depression. Hopefully this can be something to spread awareness, and fight against the social stigma and misunderstandings that depression sufferers face. Secondly, our hope is that in presenting as real simulation of depression as possible, others suffer will come to know that they aren't alone, and hopefully derive some measure of comfort from that. It goes without saying that because of the very nature of depression, it is experienced differently by every person who suffers from it. We aren't trying to say that this is the best. Go away! Go away!
Your boyfriend?
No! What? Holy crap, do you not know how to knock? Well, maybe you should talk to Mom! Anyway, sorry about that. People don't know how to knock. Anyway, there's like the joke for the video. Anyway, where the crap was I? Okay, we aren't trying to say that this is the best or most accurate representation. Merely that this is an amalgamation of the experiences of the developers and several people close to them. Many of the following encounters deal with issues such as therapy, medication, handling a love life, and reaching out to support networks. In reality, less than half of depression sufferers actually seek treatment for reasons such as lack of money, perceived personal failing, or public stigma. These things were included in order to touch upon as broad a range as possible. Since all these elements can be very important to sufferers of depression, they will likely not be the experience of most sufferers. It's important to recognize that not everyone with depression is so lucky. Many people with the illness don't have a lot of the luxuries that we have in this game. We've written it this way so that we can focus specifically on the illness, which becomes more and more difficult to deal with as the person who has it is less and less well off. This game uses audio as part of the play experience. We encourage you to play with your sound on. Thank you for playing. And then there's two options to view the controls or begin. I kind of looked at the controls already. I don't completely understand, but I'm sure I'll figure it out as I play. And yeah, let's go ahead and begin. Also, I'm going to try as much as I can to describe what I'm seeing, but mainly it's just a story from what I've seen anyway. And also, I'm not playing the sound on because it's actually pretty loud and I can't turn it down. So yeah, I don't want it to like overpower my voice, or else you won't be able to hear the story, of course. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. It is early on a Monday morning. You are a mid-20s human being. You have a significant other named Alex, you are rather fond of, that you've been seeing exclusively for the past few months. Alright, and so where it says named Alex, there's a link. And it's going to tell me how I met Alex. And let's go ahead and read what it says. You met Alex through a mutual friend a few months back. The two of you hit it off pretty well that first night, and after a series of initially awkward dates, you finally became a couple, much to your surprise and excitement. Alex is 3 months younger than you are, and is currently a student with a part-time job and broad social circle. She's also got a wide variety of interests, and oftentimes you worry that you might be too boring for her. But she has been good at trying to reassure you that she's happy with you. Your relationship consists of a lot of nights and watching Netflix when you've both got time off work and she doesn't have classes, with the occasional social outing that she tends to have to talk you into attending. I'm sorry, I might get some of the words like mixed up. I'm not too good at reading out loud, but anyway, let's continue. There's one more paragraph. She tries to be understanding when you are in one of your moods, as she puts it, though you are starting to feel like she doesn't understand what it's like for you, and this is a source of tension in your relationship. coupled with your reluctance to want to go to college parties. This feeds your worry of not being exciting enough for them. Alright, so she is very social from what I get, and just likes to go to a lot of like social things and parties and things like that. I personally, I'm not an outgoing person. I have not gone to a single party unless it was a birthday party. And I think I've went to like one social event, but I literally just stood to the side with my two friends and didn't like go and dance or anything at all. And then they left me for a few minutes. And then I'm just like, well, this is gonna be very awkward. And then people tried talking to me. I'm just like, no. I don't talk to you on a regular basis, so no. Anyway, we're gonna continue reading the story now. The rest of your social circle consists of a variety of friends and acquaintances, some of whom you've met at your day job, which is a little boring, but pays the rent. You'd like to be doing more with your life, as would your parents, but you're still in the process of figuring out what that means and how to go about it. So we're going to click on the link of social circle. There is a lot of rating to this, by the way. And it's very descriptive, and hopefully you guys won't mind. But, hey, that's what you're here for. Hopefully. Anyway, your social circle is made up of a few close friends, some of which you've known from high school, and some from jobs that you've worked. You've also made various acquaintances through reluctantly going to social events with Alex, and you keep in touch with a few friends of friends that you occasionally run into. You also have several online friends that you talk to regularly, that you feel less guarded with, possibly due to communicating from the safety of being behind the keyboard. You enjoy the low commitment of the friendships, since they don't expect very much of you other than to listen and share personal thoughts and experiences. Despite the low commitment, you feel fairly connected with these people and tend to be more honest with them than people that you interact with in real life, on a day-to-day basis. Okay, that sounds like two different sentences, and I apologize for that. Anyway, you feel incredibly nervous trying to make new friends on your own, and are very good at talking yourself out of going to unfamiliar places or larger social engagements, regardless of how much you may actually want to attend. Meeting new people stresses you out to a high degree, and this is something you wish you could work past. You admit you have a bad habit of flaking on social media, social engagements. Sorry. Even with long-time friends, and you are puzzled as to why some days you just can't force yourself to go see these people that you really do care about. Those that have stuck around long enough to be that close with you understand that this is a thing you sometimes do, and have seemed to more or less accept it, even though they chide you for it on occasion. However, you've had friends in the past give up trying to maintain a friendship with you because of this trait. Like the lesser kid, despite being genuinely happy to see him, making without even realizing what you've been doing half the time. And yet, time seemed to be moving at half speed. You're so checked out that when your boss approaches you to tell you that it's dead and you can go home early, it barely registers. As you walk home, the streets hiss from the recent rainfall. You know that your significant other will be in classes until late, another couple hours at least. You briefly consider using this serendipitous solitude to catch up on that project you've been working on haphazardly for the past few months. Let's learn about that project. A while back, you and some of your older friends were out at a bar catching up. After liquefying considerably more of your paycheck than was perhaps responsible and ending up thoroughly in your cups, you open up to the only people you really consider yourself close to, and end up launching into a drunken tirade about the meaninglessness of your utterly menial job, and ultimately your own existence. Having never really seen you in such a state before, your friends were briefly taken aback by your sudden, uncharacteristic outburst. One of your friends suggested that you get involved with your hobby on a more regular, long-term basis, suggesting that spending your energy on something you actually care about might help you to better cope with this crappiness of your 9 to 5. Although you were embarrassed that you let your guard down and you felt self-conscious at seeming to have single-handedly brought the mood down at the table, you convinced yourself on the cab ride home that maybe it would be worth trying out. You began your project some months ago and have, miraculously, managed to keep it, though your level of motivation and subsequent effort rises and falls considerably. While you were surprised when you started at how good it felt to actually work on something you were passionate about, lately you found it hard to muster the energy to really care about even this. Again, I can relate. Anyway, as soon as you think about the work that awaits you at home, you can feel the panic creeping in from the back of your brain, unbidden. All I can think about is how incredibly far you are, and the amount of work seems nothing less than insurmountable. By the time you arrive home and change out of your uncomfortable work clothes, the stress is weighing down on you like a heavy, wet wool blanket. Your computer seems to be staring you down from your desk. You want to sit down and work, but the mere thought of trying to work sends your stress levels flying. More than anything, you feel suddenly and absolutely exhausted, and feel a strong desire to simply hide in bed. Do you, 1, order some food, grab a drink, and hunker down for a night of work, but that's in red and crossed out, and I can't click on it. So I'm guessing that's like the depression or something, like saying, no, we're not going to do that. 2, reluctantly sit down at your desk and try to make yourself do something. 3, turn on the TV, telling yourself you just need a quick half hour to unwind from work. 4, call into bed. You're so stressed and overwhelmed you couldn't possibly accomplish anything anyways. There's a few things that say right here, and I guess that's like our current status, and it says, you are depressed. Interaction is exhausting and you are becoming more and more withdrawn. You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. And so I think we're going to turn on the TV telling ourselves that we just need a quick half hour to unwind from work, because I don't know, it's been a stressful day. And yeah, so what would you guys do? Would you agree with me and turn on the TV and just take a break for a second? Or would you reluctantly sit down at your desk and try and make yourself do something? Or would you crawl into bed? You're so stressed and overwhelmed you couldn't possibly accomplish anything anyways. Comment down below. Just a hack. You know it's important to Alex and you'd really like to see her. Seeing her does make you feel better sometimes. We hope that this is in the case tonight, even if it does mean dealing with all the usual social anxiety. The time to leave rolls around, and you grab your overnight bag. Alex's apartment is a short walk away, and there are already people hanging out on the porch. You feel your chest tighten as you approach the building and try to steel your nerves. You quickly find your partner, chatting away with the birthday girl, and Alex immediately lightens up when she sees you. I'm so happy you came. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it. A young man taps on her shoulder, and she turns back to you to apologize and let you know they have to do something before the party. Alex hands you a beer and plants a kiss on your cheek before going off to deal with whatever came up. As you look around, you don't see anyone else you recognize. So, number 1, which is in red and crossed out, it says, enthusiastically socialize. 2, awkwardly stand in the same spot, unsure of what else to do. 3, put your bag in Alex's room and avoid the crowd in there for a while. 4, cling to the back wall, sip your beer, and wait for your girlfriend to return. Proceed to drink in earnest, hoping it makes you less uncomfortable. So, I don't think getting drunk would be a good thing to do, so I know just 1 beer isn't going to make you that drunk unless we're one of those people that gets drunk like super easily or something. I don't know. But, I don't think it'd be best to really like drink. So, we're not going to do number 5. We're gonna do number 3. We're gonna put our bag in Alex's room and avoid the crowd for a little while. But I want to know what you guys would do. Would you just stand in the same spot, unsure of what to do? Would you agree with me and go hide in Alex's room for a little bit? Would you cling to the back wall and just wait for her to return? Or would you proceed to just drink and hoping you are a little less uncomfortable? You take your beer and shift through the crowd until you arrive at Alex's room. The room is actually empty of other partygoers, and you sit on her bed as you set your bag down. Thankful for the personal space and feeling a lot less claustrophobic, you mess around on your phone while you sip from your beer. You keep telling yourself you'll all out in 5 more minutes, but every time the time rolls around to go back out, you feel the panic creep in, and you stay rooted to the spot. Figure no one here knows you anyway, so it's unlikely that you'll be missed. A few minutes later, Alex comes into the room. "Oh, there you are. I was wondering where you'd gone off to. Figured I might find you here." She sits down on the bed next to you, buzzed enough to be slurring slightly. "I'm really glad you turned up tonight. To be honest, I really didn't think you'd show. It's really cool you did. Really." You know she meant it lovingly, but you're not quite sure how you feel about that statement. It's a little afternoon on a muggy Saturday. Your mother has come over for a surprise visit, claiming loudly that she doesn't see you enough, so she decided to invite herself over. As you converse, she walks around your place, and you get the distinct impression that you're being inspected. "So what's going on with you lately?" she asks abruptly. Taken somewhat aback by this left fielder, you tell her that you're not sure what she means. She repeats the question, saying that you haven't seemed like yourself lately. She gestures to the dirty dishes piled in the sink and notes the fact that you haven't called or visited in a while. Your reticence only seems to spur her on more. She presses you, asking if you're having problems at work or with Alex, and you're beginning to feel increasingly battered by her sudden well-meaning but overwhelming inquisition. Under her questions, you become increasingly uncomfortable. You want to be able to explain to her how you're feeling, but the truth is, you're not really sure yourself. Nothing horrific has happened at work, or with your significant other, or friends, or anything like that. But all the same, you can't deny that lately you've just felt drained and as though you're not really here. You wish you could tell your mother these things, but she hasn't been approachable about negative emotions in the past. She's the kind of person who holds the opinion that the solution to any problem is to simply try harder and maintain a positive attitude. A stance that has reared its head in past conversations when you've begun to explore the subject with her. You know she's unlikely to be understanding. You feel the energy drain out of you when you imagine what could happen if you managed to blurt out everything you were feeling. You do. Number 1, like the past options, is let her know that you've been feeling down lately and that you appreciate her concern, but it's read and just crossed out. And so my theory is that number 1 is always the option that you want to do, but your depression is just making it so you can't. So number 2 is try to be honest with her anyway. 3, tell her everything is fine and thank her for asking. 4 is to change the subject. And so our status thing is the same as it was last time. And I don't know, I think I'm just gonna change the subject. I feel like it's not good to lie to her, but again, I feel like it's the anxiety is just gonna be worse if we try to be honest with her. But I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Would you be honest with her, tell her that everything's fine, and thank her for asking, or would you change the subject and be on my side with it? Anyway, we're gonna change the subject. Are you okay? It's a question you've been finding yourself being asked a lot lately, and it's one that has begun to make you instantly uncomfortable. It's one you would have to spill your guts to adequately describe, which would be an almost impossible feat to perform at the moment. Even if you managed to, you'd have to fight through your self-loathing long enough to keep talking, despite feeling that everything you're saying amounts to simple belly aching. If somehow you empowered through that as well, you'd have to live with feeling truly exposed. You figure anyone who would know all of these things would be put off to you permanently. More importantly, despite your mother's best intentions, she is quite likely the worst person possible to try and wade through all of this crap with. You evade the question by pretending you have received a text message. Once you pretend as though you're finished reading it, you change the subject back to one you know your mother is interested in. She takes the bait and the topic is successfully changed. Feel of unease lingers and your stress levels stay high until she leaves a bit later. You wonder if you should talk to someone about all this. Someone who would be more sympathetic and not tell you to simply think positive. We're very depressed. Spend a large amount of time sleeping, hating yourself, and have very little energy or motivation. You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. I know it hasn't been that long like my usual ones are, but I think I'm gonna keep these short for now. And I just want to say thank you for just being with me in this experience so far. I am going to be playing this hopefully soon. And also, I'm sorry I haven't been live streaming much lately, or playing like Emily's Away, or any of the other games, and like Town of Salem, or the Fallout Shelter. I will hopefully be getting back to those games as soon as I can. But currently, life is just really hectic, and it's kind of hard to explain, but a lot's been kind of going on. I've been pretty busy. And anyway, I just want to say, if you are like depressed or suicidal or all that type of stuff, talk to someone about it. There are hotlines you can call. There are friends, I'm sure, around that want to talk to you. There are a lot of people around that you can talk to. And if you don't know about them, go ahead and call a hotline, and you don't even have to talk to someone that you know about it. And I don't know, it just, talking to a stranger I feel like is better in a sense, I guess, or easier, because, well, they don't know you and they can't really judge you or anything, you know? I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, or understand it at the very least. And hopefully, if you have depression or are suffering or suicidal, all that, hopefully it gets better for you. I really do hope so. And if you'd like, you can message me if you want to, and you can talk to me and just whatever. I don't personally care what you say. I will listen. And if you want, I can give you whatever advice you want me to, and or just give you my personal like look on it. And of course, I don't know you. I can't really judge you because